So let's talk about the Philippines then.
Yeah.
So you deploy twice there.
Yep.
Um, what do those missions look like? Because I couldn't find anything on it, like on your specific deployment. So I would like to
Yeah.
learn a little bit more about your role there, what it looked like, just your everyday life, anything you want to share about it.
Yeah. So it is those deployments were in support of Operation Enduring Freedom Philippines,
Yep.
which is it was a very, very small contingent of US forces doing counterinsurgency work, like I said, with the Filipinos. Um I so we kind of had like a main contingency, like a small base. I saw that base twice, I think, because base both times when I deployed, when I landed, I was put on an unmarked aircraft and I was flown to where I was going.
Okay.
Um, and I worked with special forces guys. I'm not special forces. I
Okay.
always feel like I need to clarify that.
Yep.
I was attached to them as a force multiplier, is what they called us.
Okay.
And basically, I would go with them as they were looking to train the host nation armed forces. So the Filipinos, whether it was Army or Marines, were our two primary services that we worked with.
Okay.
Um, I would go with them to do that and teach them my skills as well. And then we go out into the population to work with the civilians. They would do their thing and I would do my thing. And at the end of that mission, we would bring it all back together and devise a plan or an action plan for the next time we were there, or a reverse action plan, or what we would do moving ahead.
Okay.
Um, and largely, we were there helping to build and reinforce a positive reputation for the Filipino Army.
Mm.
So if you think about the way the Philippines is kind of divided, it's an archipelago. There's 100 or there's 1,000 some odd islands that make up the country, the nation of the Philippines.
Okay.
You've got Luzon and at the northernmost point, you've got Visayas right in the middle, and then you've got Mindanao. And Mindanao is where I was, and there is a large push, even today, from what I understand, to have that become an autonomous Muslim state.
Mm.
They kind of want to detach themselves from the main government of the Philippines, and they want to be self-governed under Islamic law.
Okay.
So there was, for instance, when ISIS was real big a couple years ago, there was actually, this made the news, which I was surprised to see. There's a town in the northern part of Mindanao called Marawi.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, I've seen combat
ISIS
footage
got
of
in
that. Yeah.
there. ISIS got in there and they took over. And like
Yeah.
I'd been there, a dozen times doing stuff.
No
And
way.
then the Philippine Army, Marines, and Air Force just laid waste to that city to get them out of there. Like
Hmm.
there's that strong of a push, and the the terrorist organizations, whatever you want to call them, to be politically correct today in 2020.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, you don't
Have,
need to be just so you're aware, you don't need to be politically correct on this
yeah,
show. Just so you know, so you say whatever you
sure.
need to say.
They've got such a strong foothold that they were able to gain substantial ground, and they held that city for a long time.
Mm.
But if you go back in history to get, I mean, the Philippines in general, I'm not going to preach the history. One, I'm not that well read up on it anymore. And two, it would probably bore the daylights out of you. But they've had a big tumultuous history with people coming in and conquering and seizing and raping and pillaging and then leaving and then getting conquered and pillaged and blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
all over again. And it's no different on Mindanao. They've got some of the earlier groups that ended up forming Al Qaeda formed in the southern Philippines. So like it's been a hotbed for terrorist activity for a long time. Like when I talk to my friends and my family and people who don't know, I often refer to it as the minor leagues of terrorism, because the way it was I was there is the bad guys would come in from all over the world and they would train and they would become proficient in their tactics and their techniques.
Okay.
And when they had mastered them there, that's when they would move up to the Middle East.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's almost like the way you described it too is it seems accurate. Then is it's a like the little leagues or whatever. Of like
Yeah.
Okay, I see that. Okay, keep going.
Yep. Anyway, so that's kind of like the overarching mission. We were there to advise and assist the Filipino Army, Filipino military, and help to build their reputation in these areas that, for one reason or another, they were not welcome. And as part of that reputation building, we were also trying to get further and further into these areas so that we could rout out the bad guys. And by rout out, I don't mean go in there and take action. Americans are not engaging in active combat in the Philippines. The Filipinos do that.
So you train the Filipinos to go push out ISIS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or at that time, it was the groups we were mainly working against was ASG, the Abu Sayyaf group, and the MILF, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, or MILF, which we always had a great time with.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Um, so that was kind of like the overarching mission for both of my deployments.
Okay.
The day to day, it varied. Most days we would be out like among the population in these far flung areas, and most of the places we went, like I was the first white person these people had seen.
Oh, really?
On TV or in real life. Like,
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So why is that though? I assume they would have seen someone by it. Like, is the internet controlled there?
So this was 2007 and 2008. Internet looked a lot different back then.
Oh, that's true.
Now.
Yeah.
Like they were still using, like we were on Nokia phones, like the big rubber buttons, and you had to stick a SIM chip in it.
Yeah.
Internet wasn't around, and even for us, like as Americans, our internet was pretty shitty where we were at it.
Yeah.
So it was a different point of connectedness back then.
Huh.
So
okay.
Even to the point of like some of these people didn't have a radio or a television. They were just like they were literally surviving day to day. And then you have some bad guy come in and say, I'm gonna shoot your village up.
Yeah.
If you don't give us access to your crops, that by the way, we're taking all of those now, and you don't pay us what little money you have, we're gonna kill, your daughter, your wife, whatever. And then at that point, that's where they would get their foothold, not out of the kindness of their own hearts, but out of fear and threats.
So did the population not support, but was there a portion of the population that supported the ISIS, or not ISIS movement, sorry, the MILF movement, if you want to call it that?
The MILF. Yeah, I think there was. Like, but you gotta remember too. So like psychological operations, it's not propaganda, but it's close.
Yeah.
There's like, I'm not going to say this to be funny. There's like actual shades of gray within proactive communications versus propaganda, and it's like 3 degrees of separation. It's very easy to cross over that line.
Interesting.
So what they were getting was propaganda from the bad guys, and we would come in and we would communicate with them either directly from my mouth or through an interpreter, depending on what dialect was being spoken in the area. And we would try and like give them the truth, but there's always tension between the truth and what one wants to believe.
Yeah.
And depending on how well you're educated, most of these people had never seen the inside of a classroom. They couldn't read. They believed what they knew. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way that they were brought up. So we were in there trying to help change their perceptions.
Jeez. It's interesting too, because from my perspective, it's or for most people's perspectives, probably they don't hear those types of stories. They hear more stuff that's going on in the Middle East, if anything.
Yeah.
But like, and that's something that I've paid attention to over the past few months. Actually, are the amount of missions that actually go on around the world that the U.S. is involved in. It's actually outrageous. Like, there's a lot that's going on. But
it wasn't called the Global War on Terror for
well, yeah, but it's cool because